Now, looking at this number, I can't believe I spent that much money on one show and did that badly in it. So it really does make me question, why on earth do I do this again? What is good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rory Gissing, and today's video we are going to discuss the cost of competing as an IFBB Pro in 2023. Now, of course, we're going to be talking about my experience and how much I paid this season, but it's going to be roughly the same. I can't see how it can be that much different for the other IFBB Pros, especially in my position, which is living in the UK with very minimal UK shows, so you do have to travel if you want to compete. Now, we do have to make some assumptions. First one being you're not sponsored, so everything is being paid out of your own pocket. This is only going to be for a 12-week prep window, and the number is still mad, even in just that 12 weeks. But we're going to assume things like your food bill, you have to eat for the rest of the year, so not your entire food bill is going to be included, just how much more you spend during a prep. So let's get stuck straight into it. As an IFBB Pro, you do not pay for your show entry. However, you do have to pay the IFBB Pro League for an annual membership, which essentially is just everything for 2023. You can enter an unlimited amount of shows, but it's just a one-off membership, which is $275 for the year. Now, even though I am from the UK, because that number started in dollars, because I have to pay that in dollars, we're going to continue the rest of all the numbers in dollars and not in British pounds. Now, I just mentioned the cost of food, so let's just tick that one straight off the list. You'd think you would save a little bit of money during a prep just because your food goes down, like the amount of food goes down. But when you think about it, it's mainly the carbs go down, and the carbs is the cheapest thing on your shopping list normally. Rice, potatoes, cereals, bananas, they're all super, super cheap foods. Whereas the things you do increase, such as your vegetable consumption, because you're starving, so you increase your vegetables a lot, and they actually are pretty minimal in the off season because you kind of want to save that space. Don't get me wrong, they're still present, but you want to save your stomach space for things, you know, like your proteins, your fats, and your carbs. So vegetables aren't eaten nearly as much in the off season than they are during prep, and vegetables are bloody expensive. Your meats stay roughly the same. They may increase a little bit depending on your coach. Mine actually went down, which is another issue we can talk about in another video. But I would say on average, I was spending only $100 more per month. So over the course of 12 weeks, that's $300 to kick things off. Supplements are also a bit of a tough one because you do use supplements all year round. But during a prep, yeah, generally you do increase your supplement intake and you really do focus on things like health to try to unbalance, you know, the super sups. So looking at my past history, I'd normally spend around $200 per month on my supplements, but during a prep, that kind of increased around $75 to $100. So we'll just give it the benefit of the doubt and say it was $100 more per month. Again, $300 extra, so we're going to total $600. Now, I mentioned super subs, and that's probably the reason why most people are watching this video. Yes, I calculated my super subs into this video, and of course I have to call them that because I don't want to get suppressed. So if I was a better YouTuber, I would actually save that figure to the end so you watch the whole video, but I'm not. So here we go. So I calculated across the entire prep, I spent around $480. But since then, since writing that number down and since recording, I actually realized I missed one thing off that list, which is around $50. So we're gonna add that on top. So around $530, start to finish, 12 weeks is how much I spent on my super subs. In the UK, from my understanding, they are a lot cheaper than what you get in other countries. They're also legal in the UK. So everything I've done, it was perfectly legal. YouTube, please don't demonetize me. But $530 is very reasonable for an IFBB Pro for an entire prep. I think that's a very low-end number. You'd expect to be paying double up to triple depending on the most expensive item being HGH. Sports massages, yes, you should be getting these all year around. However, during a prep, you actually increase the amount you have, just I think because your body is very broken and you just want to just recover as fast as possible. And any niggles in the off season, yeah, you can kind of stretch it out. You're in a surplus, you recover much faster. But when you're during a prep, being in a deficit, you feel them a lot more and you just want to just get rid of them as soon as possible. So I increase my sports massages during a contest prep. So I would spend around $90 extra per month. for my sports massages, deep tissue massages, whatever you want to call it. So of course that's going to total up to $270 will add on to the total. Now let's discuss the traveling. This is going to be super difficult because of course it's going to be completely different for everyone depending on what country they're traveling to. But I said at the start, I'll do it from my experience. So I'm going to just average the travel costs for my 2 shows that I did this year, one of them European, one of them North American. But of course, if your show is in your country, then yeah, you can just negate this cost. But I spent $390 when I flew to Hungary on an airplane ticket, and parking, petrol money rather, to get to the airport and taxis, etc. But I also spent $1,200, $1,200 when I flew to Toronto. So the average of those two is just $795. So we'll just use that figure for your travel expenses. Now, when it comes to accommodation, the chances are you do not have a show which is less than an hour away. So the venue's not gonna be less than an hour away from where you live, where your house is. So I would always say, especially at the IFBB Pro level, you go to the venue and you stay there. The minimum stay period for me is gonna be 3 days. So this year, the athletes meeting was always on a Friday and the show was on the Sunday. And again, this is mainly, I believe, for the classic physique guys and the 212 guys. So when they weigh in, they have a whole day before they compete the day after. So they'll do a check-in on the Friday where they have to make the weight. They have all day Saturday to do their carb up, and well, the water's not really going to go in because, you know, that could sort of spill over, but you know what I mean. You do your weigh-in where you're depleted on the Friday, you carb up on the Saturday where, of course, you will be over your weight limit most likely for the show on the Sunday. You don't want to just carb up, you know, between 6 o'clock that evening and then potentially 10 o'clock the following morning to just carb load. Like, you're not going to get any sleep. You're going to be eating every 2 hours throughout the night to get your carbs in, and you're going to look tired, you're going to look haggard. I think it's a bad idea. So I do fully agree with what they do to have the athletes meeting on the Friday to have a Sunday show. I do like what the IFBB is doing with that. But that does mean you're going to need to get yourself a 3-day accommodation slot because, again, you do not want to travel post-show. Some shows run really late into the night and you always want to go out and have a meal after your show. So I don't recommend traveling on a show day back home, unless, of course, you have someone to drive you, but still, you want to just sit, enjoy yourself. You've been on an absolutely crazy regimen for the last 12 weeks. You just want to just go out to a restaurant and just enjoy some time with family or friends and not have to rush back home. So a minimum 3 days, and do you get to stay in a hotel? No, you need to stay in a serviced apartment. Why? Because of the food. You have to meal prep, you need to have a kitchen access, which a lot of hotels, of course, don't have unless you want to get a junior suite. Even then, the kitchen's going to be somewhat limited, so serviced apartments is the way forward, which, of course, is a little bit more expensive than just your average hotel. And looking at the prices here, it looks like it was an average $120 per night, so 3 nights minimum, $360 added to the tally. Show tan. You wouldn't believe how expensive it is to get your spray tan for a show. In Canada, it cost me $180. I didn't see that coming because in Europe it's significantly cheaper. I'm pretty sure it was around somewhere between 60 to 80 euros. I don't know why they think that that's an acceptable price for a spray tan. I guess Toronto is just a very expensive city, but the tan was actually better in Europe, even though it was less than half the price. So sorry to say, but that was just the truth. Stage photos, these I didn't buy. I didn't purchase any stage photos, but I still know that they were in the range of $200, and that was the Canadian price. So I have no idea why they would charge that much, especially in the pro leagues when some of the photos get uploaded online for free, because you kind of have to. It's a professional sport after all. But that number blew my mind. So yeah, photos, if you wanted to get your photos, it's an extra $200, but I didn't. I'm not including that in the price. I just thought I should bring it up. Now that means our total comes to just over $3,000, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And I didn't include things like taxis to the venue or things like posing trunks, as this was for an IFBB Pro. You can kind of assume you already have a pair. Now saying that, you can actually save a little bit of money on things like going out to restaurants and alcohol, because during those 12 weeks, that's going to dip down pretty hard. And the majority of IFBB pros don't actually drink that much, so I don't think you're going to be saving an incredible amount, but I calculated it to be roughly $300 saved, so we can knock that off. So let's just call the final number $2,700. Now, looking at this number, I can't believe I spent that much money on one show and did that badly in it. So it really does make me question, why on earth do I do this again? And the answer to that is because I fucking love it. Even though I'm clearly not exactly a good bodybuilder, I still absolutely love the sport, and I can't wait to get stuck back in next year, because now I'm hungrier more than ever to actually prove to the world I am supposed to be a top tier bodybuilder and not a bottom tier bodybuilder. Just having a goal of proving to be one of the best gives you such a sense of purpose, which is very fulfilling. It's a very fulfilling lifestyle, and also knowing that you can put yourself through hell and come out on the other side. It's also very satisfying putting yourself through this unbelievable challenge, which 99% people on earth cannot put themselves through the level of suffering you've chosen to put yourself through and come out on the other side a better person mentally and physically. Actually, no, physically is not true. That was a lie. You come out of a prep fucking broken. So no, you come out of a prep mentally a better person, and you also learn so much about yourself every time you put yourself through those extreme environment situations. But that is everything for today, guys. If you liked the video, please show your appreciation by smashing the like button. Drop a comment below if you wanted me to clarify on any of the points I brought up today, or if you had a topic suggestion for the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this and the insides of being an IFBB Pro. I'll catch you everyone in the next video.